Hello everyone, it's Jessica Michaels here for the Shimmerz Paints design team. Today I have another project for you, and I'm also busting some acrylic stash on this one. So make sure you hop down the list below with my friends that are playing along with that acrylic stash hop. And I am just going to start by prepping some pattern paper from Vicki Boutin Fernwood collection. Now this is an older collection that I have in my stash still, and I thought, you know what, I need to use some Vicki Boutin. So I grabbed this one and I prepped it with some clear gesso with my spatula just by spreading it across the page. It is now dry at this point, and I am pulling out a stencil by Newton's Nook and some Ranger texture paste. This is the opaque matte. It's kind of like a white. It kind of dries, kind of see-through, but kind of white, but it's going to look really cool. I love doing this technique whenever I'm doing some mixed media because it just kind of peeks through and gives the mixed media some texture. So it's one of my favorite stencils to use for like my beach layouts or anything like that. And in this case, I'm doing a gardening layout. So this is not something that I typically get a chance to scrap, but we always plant a garden at our farm, and it's very, very big, so it's kind of hard to document this, but I managed to have some photos from 2022. This was one of our first gardens that we did, and I had some pictures of my boys helping plant. So I'm just using various mixed media shades of Vibes in this one. These are all going to be Vibes products. I am spritzing them on. I actually added some water to my page first on top of that dried gesso. And I'm focusing on those stenciled areas. And then I started with water, just added a little bit in that. And then I used various shades of green in Vibes, Beach Glass, Arti-Choked, or Arti-Choked, I guess it is, Velveteen Green, and Wild Spruce Chase. And then for the bluish shade on there, I threw in some Jeni blue because that's one of my favorite blue colors, and it just mixes so well with green. And I just wanted to give it a little pop of blue. So you'll see me actually come back in with a little bit more of that color, I think right here. No, that's the Arti-Choked one. But I do come back in with a little bit more blue right here, just to give it a little pop of blue. And I kind of pick up my paper as I go and mix the colors together a little bit. That's another thing that the water and the gesso does. When you apply that gesso, it makes your paper be able to hold up to these wet mediums, as well as be able to have a little bit more blendability. And when you add water to that, it adds even more blendability as well. Now I'm just going to take some white acrylic paint and water it down a little bit so that I can flick that on with my paintbrush to create some white splatters. So you can see it created that nice marbled effect with the white, and it also breaks up that pattern paper a little bit as well to kind of pull into that mixed media. So this is what it looks like dry. I'm going to go ahead and start embellishing here. Again, I'm mixing this layout today with some acrylic stash busting. So I've grabbed this Plant Happiness acrylic piece that's been in my stash for quite some time from Peartree Cutfiles, and I'm going to use that one on here today. So I am actually getting to use some of those older acrylics in my stash, and I'm super happy about that. I'm prepping some photos here. I've got them matted with some white cardstock already, and then I am just adding some tissue paper behind them, and then I'm going to grab the small paper pad from that Vicki Boutin Fernwood collection here and pull out some things to layer my photos with. So I'm grabbing one of these little pocket cards here from the cut apart sheet, and then I'm just going to grab some various papers from this same paper pad and add some embellishments. I'm using mainly everything from Fernwood today. So I've got a couple other Vicki Boutin embellishments that were just in my Vicki Boutin bin that I'm going to throw on there, like some word phrases and things. So you'll see those pop in here. As you can see on my desk right now, I've got some die cuts there, some little fern pieces that I will use. Sometimes I cut them down because they're pretty big. So sometimes I cut them down if I'm only using a portion of it, and I'll actually use it on two sides of my photos, both sides of my photos for balance. But the ferns, I couldn't really cut them down because they kind of only go one way. So I just tucked them in there. I'm using the whole fern piece today, but you'll see me towards the end, I actually do rip apart some of those other leafy pieces. So I'm actually going to pop some music in here for the remainder of this video. If you guys have any questions for me, please let me know. My allergies are kicking my butt right now in Pennsylvania. We've had a lot of rain that's just like stirring everything up, and finally getting some sunshine, but that's actually kicked my allergies into high gear. So I'm going to pop some music in here. Again, if you guys have any questions for me at all, feel free to list them down in the comments for me. And remember, if you place an order with Shimmerz on the website, use my name, Jessica, in the comments or the notes section of your order, and you'll get a free gift along with your order. So don't forget about that. And then I will link down below the products that I've used today. And I will also link down below Jennifer Kane's video. I think she's playing along with the acrylic stash busting today. So I'll be sure to link hers as well. So make sure you check her out for some more inspiration and all the fun things. Yeah. And then June, we have Shimmerz just released their June kit that's coming out, and it is just gorgeous. So make sure you check that out as well. It's full of purples and blues and like the greens. Oh, it's so gorgeous. It kind of goes right along with this layout today too. So make sure you check that out. I will link all the things down below for you. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks, guys. So here's what the finished layout looks like. I really, really love how this one came out, and it just turned out so good with all those little fern pieces and just pulls in our gardening theme. And I love that mixed media and how those colors just blend together. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for being here and have a great day. Bye-bye.